Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. As you can see, it's a gorgeous, a brilliant Sydney winter's afternoon, and the weather is absolutely spectacular, and there is so much commotion, so much activity down here at Circular Quay, and there are people everywhere. It looks like good old Sydney may have its pre-COVID mojo, slowly coming back. Anyway, I finished work early today, so I thought I'd come down here to Circular Quay whilst on my way home, and come up here to the International Passenger Terminal, where I spend quite a bit of time in the morning before work. But as you can see, this place just changes when the weekend comes around and the beautiful weather showers us with its glory. This place, this city transforms, and this harbour is without doubt one of the greatest harbours in the world. What I want to do today, in the tradition of Jim's 5am Club, is go through a book summary, a really interesting book summary, a book that was written in 2013, so it's almost a decade old, but the message, the enduring message, is powerful and ever so relevant today, as it will be in 1,000 years from now. The book is entitled Give and Take, by an author known as Adam Grant. So the author of this book summary kicks off with an observation where they say that being a giver is not good in a 100-yard dash or a 100-metre sprint, putting it into the Australian vernacular. But being a giver is extremely valuable in a marathon, and our life is a marathon. You know, it's a series of one step after the other, one day after the other, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year after the other. So we need to steel ourselves and to make sure that we make the most of that marathon. So the first key point to come from this book is where the author informs us and tells us that we adapt our giving style to specific people and situations. And each person has a giving style. Some people give more, some people give less, but everybody has a giving style. And it is pretty fluid from what this author is saying. And we are able to shape it, to change it, constantly, depending on who we're with and the situations that we're in. It's as if we compensate or we supplement where possible, ebbing and flowing, depending on the needs that we have and the needs of others around us. So as the author just remarks here, he says that sometimes you take, sometimes you give, and sometimes you negotiate in terms of who's going to lead and who's going to follow, who's going to give and who's going to take. So the key message that comes from this book, that comes from this author, is that we adapt our behaviour. As humans, we adapt our behaviour to certain situations, and depending on who we are with. Interesting. A profound point, actually, and something that we can gain a lot from, knowing that in any particular point in time, depending on the social circle that we're in, we can morph our giving style depending on our needs and depending on the needs of those around us. But the big point, the big lesson to come from this author in this book, is that you can change your style. You can strategize, you can include tactics into your daily sort of work environment, and manipulate and change the style so that you are not always on the giving end, but you can also take your fair share as well. Because I think what we've learned in life over the years is that you can't just give all the time and not take. Because by not taking from others, by just giving love and not taking love, you're robbing others of an opportunity to express their love to you or their caring to you. So the bottom line is that you can always change your style, and you can always take charge of your style and manipulate it and change it and leverage it depending on what serves you and what serves the environment that you're in. The second point is, once again, a very profound and important point that this author makes, and it comes from this book. And it's practicing powerless communication to get support when you need it. Powerless communication. What is powerless communication? I guess the simple way of describing it is being careless and carefree and not worrying too much on taking and getting, but being more of a giver. Because when you practice powerless communication, what you're doing is that you're reducing the ability of others to resist, to confront, and to push back on what you're saying. So it's basically taking a position where you're communicating in a way which doesn't invite the other person in the communication to bring out the tiger or the lion in them. The author makes an interesting point here, and I like this point. And he says that the power in a relationship lies with whoever cares less. Whoever cares less about the outcome will end up being the most powerful in a situation. There is nothing more convincing, according to this author, than giving up power, because by giving up power, what it does is it leads to and it creates zero resistance in the other person. By not focusing on yourself and your needs, but focusing on their needs, what you're basically doing is you're disarming them, and you're not giving them anything to fight against or anything to push back against. And that in itself is really, really powerful, because by being like that, you're in control. You know, if you can disarm the people around you in your social environment so that they're not aggressive, they're not wanting to attack and to cancel whatever you're saying, then the author says we need to try and, where possible, embrace and express powerless communication. Because through powerless communication, we empower others around us. There is no force. There is no game. There is no gamesmanship. There is no need for sweet talk in powerless communication, because powerless communication is simply open, human, natural, and purely honest communication. As we're saying here, as we're alluding to, if you've got nothing to gain and whatever you're doing is purely to try and benefit those around you, then you don't have anything to fear by being open, human, natural, and purely honest. Because by being honest, you're not trying to injure somebody. You're just trying to help them. And it's easy for people to identify a fake. It's easy for people to identify someone who's, having a go and trying to manipulate and being dishonest and deceiving. But once people realise that you're coming from a pure perspective, once people realise that you're practicing powerless communication and that you don't really care about the outcome, unless of course it disadvantages the person that you're working with, then you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear, and you can practice this honest openness. The last point that comes from this author is something I guess that many of us as parents, as partners, have learnt throughout the years. And the point here that the author is making is that you can't burn out as a giver as long as you're able to see, as long as you're able to receive feedback and see the impact that you create through your giving. That's why it's important when people are doing good things, when people are showing generosity to their family and to those in their community and their social circles, it's really, really important to give them some encouraging feedback, because this encouragement is what gives them the fuel to keep on going and to keep on pressing forward with their goodness and their generosity. And the other thing that the author says here is that if you keep on giving, you will win. You will definitely win someday. Someday you will win. But it's all got to start with you giving. It's all got to start with you giving up for the betterment of others around you, for your children, for your family, for your work peers, for your community, for your church. Who knows? But being selfless and being generous in your time and your contribution, what the author says here is that one day you are guaranteed to end up a winner in some way, shape or form. The best for all of us is yet to come. But it's important for us to see the purpose. As long as you can see the purpose in the things that you do, there is very few limits to your productivity and to your generosity. We see people around us, people who have lots of children, who have lots of dependents, and you wonder, how can they just keep on going? How can they keep on contributing? You see parents, you see grandparents who after 1, 2, 10, 100 disappointments never give up on their children or grandchildren or their partners and just keep on giving, knowing that one day they will be rewarded manifold to the input that they've given along the way. And you will continue to be energized, and that energy will be renewed. Your enthusiasm will continue, and you will become extremely productive. So don't fear, don't worry about being a giver, is what the author is saying. As long as your objective is pure, you will continue to benefit, and those around you will continue to benefit as well. Anyway, I've got a number of people here who are joining me on my Jim's 5am club. As you can see, I'm up here on the International Passenger Terminal, which is without doubt one of the most beautiful public spaces here in Sydney. So the author here continues in their book summary, and he says something really, really empowering for all of us. And the message is that burnout is for those who do not have a purpose, for the purposeless. So if you want others to keep on giving, you need to somehow give them a reward through, as we said before, through positive feedback, through encouragement, and a recognition and an acknowledgement of their efforts. Sometimes a simple pat on the back, sometimes a simple thank you, even a small gift, an act of gratitude is really, really important to create the ripple effect that will continue the giver giving, and for others around them to be infected, to be influenced, and to be encouraged to be givers as well. So thank you very much once again to all my friends and family for joining me on this episode of my YouTube channel, Jim's 5am Club. As I say, I'm up here on the International Passenger Terminal, and it's one of those beautiful, beautiful Sydney winter's mornings. Absolutely glorious. Better than summer, better than spring. Today is definitely a 10 out of 10. So I look forward to coming again from a different place with a different message of empowerment, where we're able to showcase and highlight the beauty of this wonderful city of Sydney and overlay it with a message of empowerment. A message of empowerment that comes in the form of OPE, other people's experiences, that comes from books and from other sources. So wishing you all well. Happy Saturday. And I see the Collaroy ferry coming back from Manly. It was only a few months ago that these big ferries were decommissioned in favour of the smaller ones, but with the monstrous swells that we've had, with the big storms that we experienced a few weeks ago, basically, it caused a change in decision, and rationality and common sense prevails, because in big seas sometimes you need a big boat to be able to get through, over, and to safely traverse this harbour, especially at the heads there where the swell becomes humongous. Anyway, take care. I'll head off shortly, head off home to my wife Paula, and I look forward to coming to you again sometime soon. Bye for now. Yassas. Take care.